on Africa 24 English, the African Union Journal is presented to you by Afreximbank.
Welcome to the African Union Journal, your weekly rendezvous with news from the African Union. This edition is dedicated to the role of sport in Africa's development. It also looks at Moroccan sovereignty over the Sahara and the development of digital payment in Africa, which will make it possible to exceed the level of intercontinental trade estimated at 18%. According to experts, sport plays a key role in the economic development of African countries, stimulating employment, tourism, and infrastructure. It also generates revenue through sporting events and broadcasting rights. In addition, sport promotes social inclusion and capacity building among young people, thus contributing to sustainable development. More details with Fatma Nyang.
With an estimated annual economic growth potential of 8%, according to experts, sport is playing a growing role in the continent's economic development. In 2020, the global sports industry was worth around 1.2 billion euros, or 2% of global GDP, but in Africa, this contribution was just around 0.5% of GDP. Despite the constraints inherent in the development deficit, sport is a comparative advantage for Africa, where 70% of the population is under 30.
My vision for sports.
My vision of sport in Ghana and on the continent in general is that, in a holistic way, we are looking at it from a different angle. Part of our discussion today is to look at sports and entertainment as asset classes, ways of generating revenue within these economies. Since its launch in May 2021, the Basketball Africa League BAL has established itself as a powerful driver of economic development in Africa. By bringing together the best basketball talent from across the continent, the BAL has not only raised the level of sporting competition, but has also created significant economic opportunities, according to its president.
The
Basketball Africa League will continue to be an engine for the development of basketball, but also an engine for economic development for African countries and will boost tourism. The growth of the sports industry in Africa remains an important lever for the continent's economic and social development. According to the experts, by investing in sport, African countries can not only boost their economies, but also promote social inclusion and community cohesion. Public authorities in these countries need to become aware of the enormous potential of the power of sport. It is often said that sport is the last diplomatic tool in the world, and I sincerely believe that. According to observers, the increased development of sport on the continent will also promote social development, job creation, and the improvement of educational and sporting infrastructures. However, challenges remain, such as the lack of funding and coordination, as well as institutional systems that are still weak.
UNESCO estimates that in 2024, 50% of African countries will not have sport facilities that meet international standards, hampering the development of sport on the continent. Concentrated in urban areas, these facilities are inaccessible to a large proportion of young people, especially in rural areas. Faced with insufficient investment, experts urge greater mobilization to make sport a lever of growth in Africa. Philip Akwa tells us more.
The development of sport in Africa faces many challenges, not least the lack of infrastructure. By 2025, half of African countries will still lack stadiums and modern facilities that meet international standards, according to UNESCO. According to experts, the situation is holding back the development of talent and the staging of competitions. Many aspiring young sportsmen and women do not have access to suitable infrastructure, which limits their progress and restricts the opportunities to express their potential at the highest level. Sports and entertainment in general. There is a sports and entertainment economy that generates billions and billions of dollars around the world, and Africa's share of that may be small at the moment. I think that what we need to do is create an industry around the huge talent that we have. The talent that exists in Africa doesn't exist anywhere else. The poor distribution of infrastructure is also a major obstacle. In sub-Saharan Africa, the African Development Bank reports that 70% of sports facilities are concentrated in urban areas, leaving rural areas deprived. The African Development Bank points out that with a rural population representing 60% of the continent, this imbalance hinders inclusivity in sport. This geographical inequality hinders access to sports facilities for young people in rural areas. By developing as a player, you really have to develop and choose to have a career in basketball as well as in other areas that will contribute to the development of the industry that we seek to create through basketball. In 2024, investment will amount to less than 1% of GDP in many African countries, according to the African Sports Federation. In comparison, European countries devote an average of 3% of their GDP to sport. To reduce this gap, experts are calling for greater collaboration between governments, the private sector, and international partners to finance and develop adequate infrastructures. We are trying to make and create the product around basketball by also infusing a lot of entertainment, of culture, and creating opportunities for the immense talent to express itself beyond just young basketball players. There's an opportunity to amalgamate and create an entertainment product that people are going to want to consume. According to observers, sport in Africa has the potential to become a major economic and social lever, but this requires quality infrastructure. UNICEF estimates that a 30% increase in infrastructure would triple enrollment in sports centers by 2030. By strengthening these facilities, African countries can not only promote the health and education of young people, but also generate economic opportunities and improve their international standing.
Experts believe that the development of digital payment in Africa, combined with economies of scale, will make it possible to exceed the level of intercontinental trade estimated by the International Trade Organization at 18%. However, there are significant barriers to digital financial inclusion on the continent and therefore to the implementation of the AfCFTA. More insight with Catherine Gobe.
Capitalize on the potential of digital technology to accelerate inter-African trade. This is one of the objectives of those in charge of the African Continental Free Trade Area, AfCFTA, in partnership with the African Union Commission, Smart Africa, and the Better Than Cash Alliance. The AfCFTA Secretariat has launched a call to action on digital financial inclusion for the success of the single African market.
This is what we mean by responsible digital payments, which are now embedded in the Protocol on Digital Trade, which are part of national strategies like Rwanda's national Smart Rwanda goals that started way back in 2000. We are at a cusp as a continent to come together to drive that through the implementation of the AfCFTA, which looks at how we buy and sell with each other, how this beautiful fabric, this good scarf from Egypt, will go from Egypt to everybody.
AfCFTA has a strong digital dimension, as demonstrated by Article 3, which sets the objective of an integrated, prosperous, and peaceful Africa, as set out in the African Union's Agenda 2063. Indeed, the latter is intended to accelerate the process of economic integration in Africa, notably through the promotion of e-commerce and digitized payments, which will enable increased intra-regional trade as well as improved access to the African continental market for external players, and thus the establishment of a real digital economy on the continent. However, the recurrent use of third-party currencies in cross-border trade payments places a significant burden on national foreign exchange reserves, leading to delays in settlements and reduced profits for small and micro merchants.
M-Pesa is one of that significant innovation that can also help us, and make other African countries to start trading with each other. Because yes, where there is trade, there should also be payments. And what is the mode of payment that is acceptable? So the M-Pesa innovation, and we want to see how these ones, again, how we can leapfrog some of those technological innovations.
In 2020, the International Finance Corporation, Google, estimated that Africa's digital economy could reach $108 billion by 2025, or 5.2% of the continent's GDP. By 2050, its anticipated potential contribution could reach $712 billion, or 8.5% of GDP. What's more, if Africa's internet penetration rate and cyber protection mechanisms are significantly improved, the digital economy could create 140 million jobs and add $2,200 billion to Africa's GDP by 2035.
With their ability to get online, transact digitally, they form digital collateral with which they can access finance to do more biashara.
To date, only 28 African countries have consumer protection laws applicable to online transactions. While 3G and 4G penetration is currently estimated at 25%, for the experts, building the right digital infrastructure is therefore essential to the smooth running of the EFCFTA region.
On to our regional news. Ateka border community leaders commit to strengthening cooperation and disarmament. 23rd COMESA Summit, Burundi abolishes short-stay visa, and finally, ECOWAS, Morocco and Mauritania adopt agreement to enhance energy security.
The leaders of the Ateka border communities comprising Turkana in Kenya, Kamarojong in Uganda, and Toposa Didinga in South Sudan signed a historic agreement on November 1, 2024 in Moroto, Uganda. The agreement aims to promote peaceful coexistence, resource management, and disarmament. Community leaders agreed to strengthen traditional conflict resolution mechanisms and encourage cross-border cooperation to ensure equitable access to resources. The Ugandan and Kenyan governments were also called upon to prioritize essential infrastructure for regional development. This meeting marks a major step forward following the first East African Community Peace Caravan in 2023. At the 23rd Summit of the Common Market for Eastern and Southern Africa, COMESA, the President of Burundi, Evariste Ndayishimiye, announced on October 31, 2024, that short-stay visa would be waived for nationals of COMESA member countries. The aim of this decision is to promote regional integration and freedom of movement. On November 1, 2024, the Energy and Hydrocarbons Minister of ECOWAS, Morocco and Mauritania adopted a number of key agreements for the implementation of the Atlantic African Gas Pipeline project designed to link Nigeria to Morocco. The initiative aims to strengthen regional energy security, foster economic integration, and to open up new markets for natural gas. The project, worth an estimated $26 billion, will stretch over 6,800 kilometers and will benefit 13 ECOWAS countries, Mauritania, and Europe.
The recognition of Morocco's sovereignty over Western Sahara is increasingly accepted by world states and powers as the most viable solution for the development of this territory. The acceptance of this solution is a major geopolitical issue. The development of this information with Severin Duque.
Proposed by King Mohammed VI on April 11, 2007, the plan to share Moroccan sovereignty has paved the way for international acceptance of Moroccan sovereignty over the Sahara. At the cost of considerable diplomatic efforts, the country has managed to gain the support of more than 110 countries around the world, including France. This European country now recognizes Morocco's autonomy plan for the Sahara as the most viable solution for the administration and development of this territory disputed with the Polisario Front. The 2007 Autonomy Plan is the only basis for achieving a fair, lasting, and negotiated solution in the accordance with the resolutions of the UN Security Council, firmly rooted in history, respectful of realities, and promising for the future. This is the position that France will implement to accompany Morocco in international bodies. After France expressed its support for the autonomy plan proposed by Morocco to resolve the conflict, the country updated the French Foreign Ministry map on October 29, 2024, removing the demarcation between Morocco and the Western Sahara. This realignment of the French position was welcomed by Morocco, which sees it as a legitimate recognition of its sovereignty over the Western Sahara. The evolution of the French position is not only a diplomatic formula, but it is translated into very important and highly appreciated operational actions, which are part of this permanent dialogue on this issue with His Majesty the King and the President, but which is also part of a very broad framework, which is this positive dynamic that the Moroccan Sahara issue has been experiencing for a number of years. Morocco has always defended its territorial integrity over Western Sahara. In 2007, the country proposed an autonomy plan under its sovereignty for the region, an initiative that was supported by several states and international organizations. This initiative is part of the impetus given by King Mohammed VI to the national cause and strengthens international recognition of Morocco's position on this crucial issue. The map of Morocco was updated and put online on the website of the Ministry of Europe and Foreign Affairs an hour ago. Our operators and businesses will be supporting the development of this region through investment and sustainable solidarity-based initiatives for the benefit of the local population. Our ambassador will be going there next week. We'll be stepping up our consular and cultural activities there with a view to creating an Alliance Française. We will also be on Morocco's side to promote a fair and lasting political solution, for which the 2007 autonomy plan is the only basis. In Western Sahara, the Polisario Front, supported by Algeria, is campaigning for a referendum of self-determination, but the support of several countries around the world for the Moroccan proposal for autonomy under the sovereignty of the kingdom inevitably makes this the most viable solution for the territory's development.
The 18th edition of the Connected Banking Summit Innovation and Excellence Awards West Africa 2024 will be held from the 19th to the 20th of November 2024 in Accra, Ghana. The event will bring together global leaders, finance industry experts to shape the future of financial services. As the centerpiece of the Connected Banking series, the summit focuses on digital transformation, improving customer experience and security. Representatives from a variety of financial institutions, including banks and fintechs, will explore the integrated solutions that are redefining the sector. From the 20th to the 21st of November 2024, Livingstone in Zambia will host the 30th meeting of the Intergovernmental Committee of Senior Officials and Experts for Southern Africa, organized by the Sub-Regional Office for Southern Africa of the United Nations Economic Commission for Africa. The theme of the meeting is addressing the energy deficit in Southern Africa through investments in new renewable energy technologies. The aim is to combat energy poverty while promoting sustainable industrialization. The IGZO is an annual meeting recognized by the UN, which brings together experts from Southern Africa and other countries on the continent to discuss crucial issues relating to socio-economic development. The Africa Investment Forum Market Days 2024 will be held from the 4th to the 6th of December 2024 in Rabat, Morocco. This event, organized by the founding partners of the Africa Investment Forum, the Islamic Development Bank and the Trade and Development Bank, will focus on the theme leveraging innovative partnerships to scale up. Launched in 2018, the market days are the heart of the Africa Investment Forum. Each year, they bring together project promoters, government officials, and key investors to facilitate deals on promising projects.
The election of the Ghanaian Shirley Ayorkor Botchwey as the 7th Secretary General of the Commonwealth makes her the first African woman to hold this position. Her vision is based essentially on the transformation of the economies of the 56 member states of the international organization. Minister of Foreign Affairs and Regional Integration of Ghana since 2017, Shirley Ayorkor Botchwey will officially begin her 4-year term in April 2025. Advocate unity and inclusion for sustainable development. A portrait by Mitred Iyamo.
Elected Secretary General of the Commonwealth on October 25, 2024, Shirley Ayorkor Botchwey, Minister of Foreign Affairs and Regional Integration of Ghana, is the first African woman to occupy this position within the international organization of 56 member states. 7th Commonwealth Secretary General, Shirley Ayorkor Botchwey, aged 61, has a strategic vision to improve the effectiveness of the institution and achieve the transformation of the economies of its member states.
The Commonwealth's 56 countries has a combined population of 2.7 billion people, with 60% being young people, with 33 out of the 56 being small island developing states and small states. My vision is to build on these strengths, promoting trade and ensuring education, skills training development, and innovation for the teeming numbers of young people across our Commonwealth.
Shirley Ayorkor Botchwey has been Ghana's Minister of Foreign Affairs and Regional Integration since January 2017. With over 20 years of extensive experience in law, diplomacy, and communications, she will be particularly responsible for strengthening cooperation between Commonwealth member states, promoting democracy, supporting economic development, and addressing climate challenges. A strong promoter of unity and inclusion, Ayorkor Botchwey highlighted her dedication to Commonwealth values.
I will provide leadership to work with member states in collaboration with other multilateral institutions towards addressing climate change, which presents a clear existential threat to our Commonwealth. I shall harness opportunities for transformation and enhance our global voice. I'll prioritize inclusive and effective decision-making, leveraging technology.
Ayorkor Botchwey was Ghana's Deputy Minister of Information from 2005 to 2006, then Deputy Minister of Trade and Industry from 2007 to 2008, holder of a law degree, an executive MBA, and a master's degree in public communication and public relations. She was a member of the ECOWAS Parliament from 2013 to 2017. Shirley Ayorkor Botchwey chaired the Sub-Regional Organization's Council of Ministers for 2 consecutive terms from 2020 to 2022, playing a major role in negotiations for a democratic transition with military regimes in the region. She led Ghana's campaign for the country's membership as a non-permanent member of the United Nations Security Council for the period 2022-2023.
I care about people, the fisher folk, traders in small kiosks, entrepreneurs, and especially our young people and women. The dreams of people everywhere across the Commonwealth is to make a decent living, to take care of themselves and their family. But this is only possible if leaders like myself at national and international levels remain mindful of our obligations to the least amongst us.
The election of Shirley Ayorkor Botchwey marks Africa's return at the head of the Commonwealth after 24 years. The Ghanaian is the second African personality to be elected Secretary General of the Commonwealth after the Nigerian Emeka Anyaoku, who held this position from 1990 to 2000. Ayorkor Botchwey's 4-year mandate, which officially begins on April 1, 2025, opens new prospects for a more inclusive Commonwealth, observers say.
Thank you for following this edition of the African Union Journal. Stay tuned to Africa 24 English for the best African news in streaming and replay on our website, africa24tv.com, on Play Store, on My Africa 24 application, and on all our social networks.
On Africa 24 English, the African Union Journal is presented to you by Afreximbank.